Attendance when the Congressional Hispanic Caucus met with White House Chief of Staff John Kelly this morning on immigration. Congressman, thanks so much for being here. First
Thanks,
off,
Katie.
what do you think? 50-50 that the government stays open? 60-40? What are your odds?
Here's what I can tell you. I'm ready to spend the weekend here. Saturday, Sunday. It doesn't end on Friday. We can continue. Whatever closes down on Friday can simply reopen on Sunday or Monday. Let's stay the course and let's get the job done. But here's why I am optimistic that we can reach an agreement. And here's why. Because to a woman and to a man, the members of Congress indicated to General Kelly the importance of the Dreamers and how they're a priority, and there will be no vote on a continuing resolution or on a budget here in the House of Representatives unless we resolve. But we said to General Kelly, just so that the public understands, we are ready. We have legislation for additional border security, which is what, if we all remember, when the Senator and the Minority Leader Pelosi met with then President Trump, they said, well, we need to marry border security with the DREAM Act. We're ready to do that. So we told the Secretary that. But here's why I'm really believe we can reach a solution. Because I've never seen Democrats like in that room so united.
Really?
Right? Really standing up for their principles and for their values. And so Steny Hoyer attended the meeting at our invitation with us. And here's the last thing he said to Secretary Kelly. He said, just so you know, what you've heard here today from the members of the Hispanic Congressional Caucus is the expression of the will of the Democratic caucus. We just can't blink, Katie. And if we don't blink and stand up for our principles and our values, we're going to have a solution to this
Steny
problem.
Hoyer, was saying that the will of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus is the same will as the Democratic Party. I just want to be clear on that.
Yes,
there's no government funding deal. There's no CR unless Dreamers are taken care of by Friday.
We want to resolve the issue. Here's what Mr. Kelly said to us. He said, as far as the president is concerned, I'm gonna try to quote, right? This is a done deal when it comes to Dreamers. They can stay, they can achieve American citizenship. That is something that is already off the table. Well, good. If what the president wants is additional border security, then we can do that. But here's the issue. The other thing Secretary Kelly demonstrated to us was a complete naivete, right? And misunderstanding of the way government works, both in policy and in politics. Why do I say that? He said, well, you know, we can keep the Salvadorians here, except we can't keep the ones that are criminals. We can't keep the ones that are on welfare. And I felt like shouting to Mr. Kelly, they're not on the TPS. You cannot have temporary protective status and be a criminal. The ones you want to deport are the ones he went on to say, I want to keep the ones that are getting an education, that are working, that are learning English. Those are the ones with temporary protective status. He wants to deport and unprotect the ones he said should stay. And second, he doesn't quite, I believe, grasp, because he said to us, he said, Katie, he said, oh, that Graham and Durbin, that's not bipartisanship. What's bipartisanship is when you take Republicans who don't believe in immigration, Cotton and Perdue, and they agree with people who do believe in immigration. It's like saying I want to reform baseball in the United States of America, but I got to sit down with people who want to destroy baseball.
Hold on, Congressman. I'm still trying to get a clear answer. So are you going to vote to shut the government down, essentially, if Dreamers are not in this bill, in this government funding bill? Yes or no?
Yeah. Here, Katie,
yes
I'm not going to, I'm not going to vote for a budget that does not include fairness and justice. They're holding them hostage.
Is that Democrats across the board? Is it just you?
I am not going to vote for a budget that does not include fairness and justice for them.
Is
just
that
like
Democrats
I wouldn't vote for a
across
justice.
the board, Congressman, or just you?
Here's my sense of it all. I'm sorry this earpiece keeps coming out,
No, you just
Katie.
keep your finger in your ear and you'll look like Huntley or Brinkley.
Okay.
Come on.
Well, I want to look like me. But here's my point. Here's my point to you. I'm not going to vote for a budget that doesn't include justice and fair. And what do I believe? As I shared with you earlier on, Katie, I think that's where Democrats are. That's what I believe. That's why I believe we're going to have a solution. Democrats cannot blink. They have to stand up for their principle and their values, and we will resolve this dilemma.
Okay, my other question, and I'm hoping we can get this one in.
Sure.
I'm interested with that you were meeting with General Kelly. You've had some pretty harsh things to say about him. You said he was a disgrace to the uniform that he used to wear. You said he was a politician, not a general. You said he works for Donald Trump and now supports Trump's xenophobic, racist policies, and he's carrying them out as chief of staff. Do you still think that's the case after today's meeting?
Here's what I believe. I said to the general during the meeting, Katie, I said, I want to extend to you my most heartfelt and sincere apologies for ever questioning your military service. And I'm so sorry you lost your son. And I don't believe anybody should be questioning people that have lost their children in combat in service of the nation. He was very kind back to me at the end of the meeting. We shook hands, and he thanked me for my apology. And I think those are things, Katie, that sometimes we have to do. Do I still believe that he is part of the architecture of hurting the Dreamers? Absolutely. But I think you can do one without the other.
Did you guys talk about the S-hole or S-house comments, whatever the word was?
You know what, Katie? Here's what I thought. I thought it didn't help to bring it up, right? What did we want to do? We had the chief of staff of the president.
Well, that's interesting that you say that because, you know, Dick Durbin's getting some pushback today, and some Democrats are getting some blowback today, saying if you really wanted to deal with the Dreamers, why leak this? Why torpedo your efforts with the Republican Party and cause a massive controversy that would make it so Democrats would have a hard time working with somebody who, you know, a lot can argue after that is a racist. Many people are arguing he's a racist.
I just want to say something to Senator Durbin. Thank you. Thank you for your service, thank you for your courage, and thank you for your determination. He's been a leader and a fighter, and he's working with Republicans. I told Senator Kelly today, you know, you guys make it sound like Durbin and came to the meeting with some left-wing proposal. I thought it was unprecedented what he was willing to give up in order to release the hostage hold that Donald Trump has on our Dreamers. He was ready to pay a pretty high ransom. And so I want to congratulate them. I didn't bring it up because over the weekend I've said some things. You've reported on many things. It was already said. I didn't see how at this meeting bringing up what the president said. What we did say at the meeting, it wasn't helpful what the president said last Thursday towards reaching our goal. What we wanted to do was reestablish a dialogue with the White House. Look, let's put the Dreamers first. We already know what happened. We know that we have a president that is a racist. We've got to deal with that, but we have to put the lives, the livelihood, the future of the Dreamers ahead of all our feelings.
Illinois Democratic Congressman Luis Gutierrez. Congressman, thank you very much.
Thank you, Katie.
And outgoing Republican